Today I'm going to build a slightly upgraded version of the tea hat. I'm using a sand coloured pith helmet for this build. The advantage with this one is that the strapping is actually higher up, so rather than just chopping off the pith helmet at the top like I did last time, I'm going to try and hide the cut underneath the banding so you won't even know that it's there. I'm using a small teacup this time, and you can see there's just enough space above the band to fit the teacup in the top of the pith helmet. I've used a pencil to draw around the top of the band because this will peel back. This will allow me to make a cut just below the top level of the banding, so the banding itself will cover the join. Cut the top off the pith helmet following the wrappings all the way round. At the back I've left a small section flat which will allow me to easily attach the hinge. The next stage is just to use a bit of glue to seal up the fabric around the edges so it stays in place. The next stage is to reattach the cap part of the hat to the main part using a hinge. So I'm simply going to bolt a hinge to the back of the hat and bolt it to the lid. I've glued a thin rim of stiff plastic around the edge to support the fabric and keep it above the bottom rim of the hat. By cutting the wooden core of the hat below these strips of fabric which were wrapped around the original hat, it means when you actually close the lid it's harder to see the join. I now need to build a platform inside the hat to mount the teacup on. I'm going to make the platform out of the top part of this cheap felt hat bought from a costume shop. I'm going to simply cut this off and mount it inside the pith helmet. You can slot the whole felt hat inside the pith helmet to judge its size to make sure that it's a similar diameter to the pith helmet. I've cut the top inch or so off the top of the hat and I'm now going to mount this inside the pith helmet with some glue. I've glued the black felt hat inside the pith helmet. Now I need to mount the cup and saucer on top of the felt hat. I've bolted 4 brass picture frame loops around the outside of the felt hat and then stretched elastic between them. This allows me to hold the cup and saucer in place. Because the felt hat is flexible, the pressure of the elastic bands on the cup and saucer depress the hat. To stop this from happening, I've put a stiff piece of brass metal across the centre of the hat to support the cup. The elastic straps simply hold the cup and saucer in place. I experimented with some different ways of keeping the pith helmet closed, but decided on the end to just use some goggles. Things like hooks would have been visible on the outside, and magnets on the inside were limiting the space. So these simply just hold it in place with friction, so you can still open the pith helmet. And here's the completed piece.